Allahu, 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 Allahu. Truly He is the one, He has no father or son. Truly He is the one, He has no father or son. Everything in creation was by Him begun. Everything in creation was by Him begun. With His infinite power, anything could be done. With His infinite power, anything could be done.
At the point in time, he was the national PRO of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. He was also a national coordinator of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. He graduated from the University of Ife, now Olaolu University, with the 2-1 in law, barrister at law. He also went to the law school, and he also came out in flying color as well. Some people said he doesn't have the choice. He's an exemplary character. Then, above all that, he's also a member of the respected senior jurist, the senior advocate of Nigeria. He became a son in 1997. Takbir. Of course, we are very proud of him because we see him as an example worthy of emulation for many of us. Most of our kids that want to read law is somebody you can look up to and say, I want to be like our brother. He has handled many profile cases, and without introducing him, I know there is no time you open the pages of the newspapers that you won't come across him, either as an activist of the Nigerian Bar Association. He's a well-respected jurist. Of course, he's the principal partner of Garlic Chambers. He has his law firms in Ilorin. And some people mentioned to me that it's a money bag. If somebody is a son, it should be a money bag. Yes. And we are here to discuss something related to democracy, corruption, development, socio-economic progress in Nigeria. He's more than qualified, because he has handled many profile cases. He has acted for so many governors, both at the pro side and at the con side. So he will be able to tell us precisely why governance is the way it is. I welcome our brother. I humbly call Alli Yusuff Olaolu Moriaba. Takbir. Ajati no Usrah, Ajati no. This topic is to discuss with us is corruption, the clog in the wheel of socio-economic development of Nigeria.
Brothers and sisters, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I actually thank our Amir. He said so many things that were true. He also said everything he said was true except that somebody was a money bag. But the malams,
Alhamdulillah.
if we look back, he was right. Why it's quite important, why some people must live holy life hereafter. At least I've seen some of the brothers. I know that in between us, we are nearer 60 than 50 something. So, and if Allah has spared your life to that level, it's a signal that you have to continue, if you've not been doing so, that you must be on the path of rectitude and Islam. If you are, you should thank Allah and pray Him that you continue in that path. If you see a lot of the brothers there, who are junior brothers, and you see the level of gray hair they are now sporting. Omeke, Fatai, like this. You can't bet. Say Alhamdulillah. To many of us, Fatah. Fatai don't work. Abisule. Sorry, Kabiru Onfani. So Alhamdulillah, I think this is an homecoming for me. I was telling somebody the story of 1980-23 and the companion and IWF. For those of us who may not know, the companion came from the thinking of some brothers because about 1980-81, the gale of Lions Clog, what's the other one? Rotary Clog was sweeping away many brothers from the path of Al-Islam. And so about 1981, these brothers sat down and said, look, let's also form a professional association of Muslims. Since we were told that the Rotary Club and the Lions Club was an association of professionals, so let's form something that has the nucleus as Islam. So rather than form one organization, we came up with two: the Companion and Islamic Welfare Foundation. And that's why you find many brothers belong to the two, some belong to just one. People of that generation. And alhamdulillah, today, I can say with all sense of seriousness that I found, even though I'm officially not a member of Companion, but a member of IWF, I found that the Companion is much more dynamic, more serious, more focused than IWF. I've said this before, because this is issue of Islam. There is no issue of ego involved. You must say the truth. You must say the fact as it is. I want to thank the Companion Lagos branch for this invitation that I had to battle with for months. But Allah has His own plans. When I was leaving for Umrah about a week ago, I thought what was on my ticket was to return on Saturday. So we were all careless. Those of us on that trip, nobody checked the ticket. We didn't know that the return date would have been this morning, this afternoon. When we got to Jeddah, to board, they now told us, no, you cannot. Your flight is tomorrow. So I know. I gave a commitment there that as soon as if I'm alive, inshallah, I'll come to this Lagos. We have to change this ticket. We must fly from Jeddah to Dubai on Friday. Alhamdulillah, Allah did it. When we got to Jeddah, I now discovered that the boarding pass they issue for Dubai to Lagos was this afternoon. I said, no, you have to change this thing. so we changed. So Allah made it possible that instead of coming with the morning flight yesterday, we now came with the late afternoon flight to arrive here. So it shows that Allah already has His hands in this program. Corruption. Let me start from something that will hit all of you hard. If truly Muslims are a majority in Nigeria, we are the most corrupt. Simple. You don't need mathematics, you don't need to be a scientist, you don't need statistics to know that. Because it takes the majority to influence the minority. If we are a majority truly, and corruption is this endemic, then we have to examine ourselves. And you don't need to go far to know that we are probably the most corrupt people. The issue of not the private arch organized by Batai and his people, the public arch sector in government. I'm sure Batai can swear, I know he has a position and he can take the ground and swear that that is one of the most corrupt aspects of Nigerian life. And that is something designed only for Muslims, also handled only by Muslims. I think Chairman Biggest God Lagos State, there is Christian in National Health Commission, who are there? They are brothers. And that is the area of concern for all of us. And you know that what tells you our private lives are not holy. That's the sad truth. You don't need to know much of maths to know that a subset can never be bigger than the set itself. What happens to the circumference of the circle is the way you have drawn it that would, whether it's going to be okay or you're going to have pause. It's because our private lives are not okay. It means our private lives are corrupted. That's why you have corruption on this scale. I don't need to go far. Let's look at ourselves. How many of us tell the truth to our children and our wives and our husbands? How many of us? There are some of the sisters who will be building a house, the husband will not know. And if only, hey. What do you then teach your children, especially those who are girls, about how to deal with their husbands? But what of the brothers? The only time your wife knows where you are is when you are leaving the house. Thereafter, you are just on your own. You know a good husband from the wife. Mama Yusuff, you are in trouble. If that is the response of your wife, your wife must know where you are at every point. She must. The simplest thing Muslims should not even do will do. In the Quran, Allah saw clearly that if you enter houses other than your own and you knock, and the inhabitants say you should go back, go back. That's Quran. Now you'll be in your house sleeping, maybe deservedly too. And then you tell your children, why? Any good Muslim knows that if he comes to your house and you say he cannot enter, there is no basis for quarrel. He goes back to where he comes from. Something for which Muslims should not even lie. We lie about it. Or someone is in it, and you are there. And then tomorrow you now admonish the child. Why should you be lying? When you are the person who originated lies. And once you do that, it's a fair vedat of corruption. Corruption is not taking money alone. No. That was why people who are Abacha's advisors, they got it wrong. They call it, there was war against corruption, he now put an eye. He said war against corruption and indiscipline. What is indiscipline? It's corruption. Indiscipline is an aspect of corruption, so you don't need to put it as another item. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has told us what corruption is. Zulu. He said anything you do in the confines of your room and you don't want to acknowledge publicly, that thing is bad. That's corruption. But anything you do under the ground and you want the whole world to know that you are the originator, that is a good thing. Báyìí sí bàjẹ́ tó yìí ní Nàìjíríà yìí kò sẹ́ni tí ì ṣe sìnà gbangba o lè rí fẹ́rífẹ́rí ẹni ó bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan sọ̀rọ̀. The real act is always done behind closed doors. Nobody here, no matter how audacious you are, will come and say kò sí sìnà lẹ́yìn àmàṣẹ́ ìlú báyìí. Kò sí. I think my concern is going to be what are the solutions to this problem of corruption. I'm not going to be wasting your time to be telling you it's corruption. Corruption has brought Nigeria to 80% of its problems. And I can read them off to you. Problems of lack of public utilities is corruption. All these bad roads is corruption. No other thing. Lack of potable water in Lagos or anywhere is corruption. That is the root cause of this. Problem with the educational system is corruption. That is responsible for 80% of the problem. Mention any aspect of our socio-economic life. Unfortunately, our religious life is also corrupted. If a brother walks in here now, even you know it's not a money bag go, and say, Wallahi, I'm so impressed with the companion, I'm giving you $1 million. Allahu Akbar. Nobody will ever ask, where did he get this money? Nigeria is a very funny country. This is the only country I know that leaders of religious group will be buying private jets, and the donors of this money for the private jets are in jail for swindling Nigerians. And such men are moving around as men of God. Nigerians even corrupted religion. It shows the level to which we are sunk. So mention any aspect of our lives that is not corrupted. It's not fashionable for people to send their children to outside of Nigeria because we destroyed our own school system. How many people are doing that based on his own sweat? How many people? So if also people are lying, to school. Because most of us we rejoice in haram. And we found excuse for it, and we find all sorts of excuses to perpetuate evil. So it's quite important for us to appreciate the fact that we are part of the problem. In different ways, we corrupt public officials. All of us. I tell people in my house, look, do well, you can only say you have a father who has some level of influence if you are on the same level with another competitor for job. If somebody makes the first class and you make a 2-2, wallahi, Allah knows, I'm not going to, even though you are my child, I'm not going to tell them to drop the first class person because the man in charge is my friend. For you who are the 2-2, my people know. Some years ago, in fact about 2 years ago, one of our children, and I say your children, she wanted to go to Hajj. She also wanted to go for NYC. At the time of planning, nobody knew that the mobilization would fall during the time of Hajj. But it happened that way. And somebody then told me, Daddy, there's no problem. She should just go and report at the camp, then somebody will be signing for her. I said, and I called her. I said, look, do you want to start your life with fraud? She said, no. I said, fine. You are old enough to make a choice. Do you want to go to Hajj now and defer your NYC? Or you go for your NYC and defer Hajj? But there's no way you are going to do the two in this house. Say, okay, I'll go to Hajj and alhamdulillah. Because the fellow who is signing for you today has a hold on you in future. It looks so simple, so little, but you have to live your own Islam the way you understand it. It's because all of us will not be living Islam. That's why this problem, as few as we are here, if all of us are upright in our different places of work, you'll be surprised at the effect. Because goodness is like magnet. It attracts. People who abuse you at the beginning, they are not saying to me, but as time goes on, and we have examples of brothers amongst brothers here. People you know. I've told somebody, it's actually a day I can take the Quran and swear it can never be corrupt. At least up to today. And there are not many people I can do that for. Because I can tell you as I'm standing here, there's nothing he has, including his rickety vehicles. I don't know how he acquired it. There's none. The same with me. Every person here who is close to me knows how exactly I live. There was a brother years ago. He became a commissioner for finance. We were in his house a few times. Then one occasion we went there and he was renovating the house. And I called another common friend. I said, we have to go back to Ibadan and talk to this man. Where did he get money to renovate his house? Oh yes, it's very important. Because if you are my friend, I must be able to stand anywhere as a person. You say, look, Labaja, buy the tree. And we went to Ibadan. And he explained satisfactorily. At least I can stand there and say, look, I knew when you were buying this carpet, this is how you got the money. From what you have told us. That's how we must live with ourselves. When Bratuli Abbas was chairman in Ejibo, he knew some of us. We will ask questions. That's the essence of brotherhood. Some of us, we took it literally, the Quranic verse, in a moment or equal. It's literal with us. There are people here who are closer to me than my siblings. Because I have authority of Islam to ask them. And they also have authority to ask me. How have you gone? Now, how do we go and solve this problem? Because we all know what corruption is, so there is no time wasting your time. If you take money, if you use undue influence, if you do this. And when I said corruption brought us to where we are all old enough to know that's the truth. Money that is meant for 3 projects will hardly be enough for 1 project in this country. I've done some little research. Nigeria is one of the places where you have the cost of construction of roads. Given the same type of terrain elsewhere, it's almost 4 times. And that is why people don't revoke contracts there. Because before the thing is awarded, the man has collected up front. So nobody will have the moral right. And it's the same thing with all of us. Why we cannot ask questions from the elected leaders? Because people sold their votes. They sold the franchise. Even before the election, this is the only time we see them. We better collect what we want to collect. So after you have sold your vote, you have no right to ask the man, why is he looting? Because the moral right of the voter is the vote he has freely given. Once you have compromised that vote, you have no moral high ground to stand and say, why did you not do our road? Why would they do your road? Why? I have about 15 or 16 solutions from my own prescription here on how to fight corruption if we are serious. Of course, the number one of it all as Muslims is my friend's daughter's name, Takwa. Let's go back to the basics. The Prophet ﷺ was quoted to have said that a Muslim must live his life as if the next moment is going to be the end. And he must also live it in a way that he will think he may never die. But if you think deep, you know there is no contradiction, there is the truth. What the Prophet was saying was that you must be in a hurry to do good. Because it may come now. And you must be careful in doing evil. Because if you live long, you may reap part of it. Unfortunately, Nigerian leaders are doing evil, and we are all reapers. We are all reaping from their evil. But we are entitled to do so because we too, we are not honest. I don't belong to the school of thought that believes that the Nigerian problem is caused by the leaders alone. The followers are a serious part of the problems of this country. If the people get the kind of leaders they deserve. So the fear of Allah is very paramount if you want to fight corruption in Nigeria. As Islamic organizations, as mosques, as Allah Salatus, let's ask questions. If somebody brings a donation that we think is beyond his or our own income, let's ask questions. Number 2, Nigeria is a country where we have stopped worshiping Allah. We worship materialism. That's our new God. The worth of most people in Nigeria is not measured by the content of his morals. It's measured by the kind of car he rides, the kind of house he lives in, the kind of money he has in the bank, not minding what are the sources of all these material acquisitions. And this is applicable to all of us. We don't respect people because they fear Allah. Njẹ́ òun náà lọ èèyàn náà ni wọ́n ẹ̀ jábọ̀ fún wọn. Kò sẹ́ni tó respect èèyàn náà kankan máa ní sìn. Bàbá ẹ̀ lọ wá bí ìjọba àwọn owó là ń sọ ń bí. And ntọ́rọ̀ ti sọ àlẹ́ àkómù. Wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ wà lórí títí. A sì ń sá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ Ọlọ́run sì dúró. Àdúgbò kan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni Ọlọ́run lúgọ. Ọlọ́run lúgọ torí pé àárín ni. He's there at all times. I like one story that from the Quran that one Malam told us. I because it makes me to remember who I am at all times. He said during the time of Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam that every day Azrael will come and greet him in the morning. Every day Azrael will see Sulaiman alayhi salam. So where are you going today? Oh, I'm going to so person. I'm taking him today. I'm taking her today. I'm taking this village today. Okay. So one day he now came and met Sulaiman alayhi salam and a friend of his. But he will come in a form. You won't know it was Azrael. So when Sulaiman's friend saw him, he looked at him. So after Azrael had gone, the friend now asked Sulaiman, he said, "Who is that?" No, the man said, "You know, I'm afraid." He said, "Why are you afraid?" He said, "I don't like that man, the way he was looking at me." He said, "Who is he?" He said, "That's Azrael." He said, I told you. Yeah, but he has no problem with you. He said, "Yes." "You know what you are going to do, Sulaiman?" "Yes." So I'm afraid, yeah. "Please, Allah has given you so much power. Command the winds. They should take me to the extreme end of the world from where we are now." Sulaiman said, "No, the man, he comes here every morning." He said, "No. I don't want him to meet me here again." Sulaiman said, "That's what you want?" He said, "Yes." Sulaiman commanded the winds. Carry this man to the end of the world. And he found himself there. Then later that day, Azrael came back. And Sulaiman was surprised. "What are you looking for? You don't visit twice." He said, "Wallahi, I came here to come and testify to the mighty power of Allah." He said, "Why?" He said, "You know, I met one man here this morning." He said, "Yes. Allah told me I must kill him today. But not here. He said I must kill him at the end of the world." But I was asking Allah, "This man, I saw him. How will he get Allah to shut up? You meet him, just go and do your work." And that one day when I go there, you know I met him there. Sulaiman now told him the story. Now it was so that, and that corroborates what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says. Every one of us, we all wear our death on our necks, like a woman, the way you wear necklaces. You can't run away from it. So if we remember that, if others must go mad, must we join them? Especially the way we bury our dead should teach the Muslims lessons. Others may not learn lessons from it. Because they go and buy coffin, casket, you know, coffin, now they buy coffin, 500,000 pounds. And then the most expensive dresses they put there all day. The way we bury Muslim dead should teach you a lesson. 2-piece garment, white. That's all you hold termites and your body. Even Taishulari, as ungodless as he was, when the mother died, he said, "I can't lose my mother and waste my money." But the people what they say, when it's time to go Adanu, I want to go I say then no. I want to go Adanu. Where am I? I want to they will be moving towards Adanu. What they say here? So it's very important for us. To our children, to people who are close to us, let's downplay materialism. Let's know that we met these things here. The day we are being buried, if 1,000 naira note to buy a person go to a home, go to be a very low. Yes, some of us we don't lock the. I don't carry the key of my room to anywhere in the world. Is there any law? I don't even lock the door. Gbogbo tó ń gbé wa máa ń wọ̀nyí ẹnìkan ìfọwọ́ kan.